Hourly pay is okay if you want to play things safe, but it's not something that you want to keep doing when you're 65 years old, like my mom or my dad or a lot of people I know that are still struggling, still trying to pay those bills, and they're doing that same old 9 to 5. If you're not that passionate about what you're doing on a 9 to 5, then come on over and let's, really take over the world. Everything's about timing. You're going to learn and go through different phases in life. It's almost like a level up, like platforms. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on level 2. You might be on level 3. I'm thinking, how am I going to get to your level?
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Behind the Knock podcast. Today I have Danny Halpin with me. Danny's incredible. He's one of our newest team members, and he is the OSL, or the office sales leader, for the St. George office, which we just opened. He brought a team of loyal individuals with him. It was pretty easy for him to do because he was able to gain their loyalty, and it was easy for them to follow him. So, Danny, let's jump right into it, bro.
Let's do it.
So, you're actually one of the oldest guys on our team.
I am.
Yeah. So, and that's not a bad thing at all. I think it adds a lot of value. Tell us about like your professional career, kind of where you started in your career, when you started working, and what that looked like.
So, when I was younger, my dad, I'd go to work with him, and I remember not having any money. So I remember as far back as 10 years old, where I actually would go to construction sites and ask the guys that were building the homes and whatever and whatnot. I'd ask them if I could work for them and earn some money. And I'm 10 years old and I'm over there bucking boards and whatever the case. A lot of people told me no, I'm too young, that I didn't want to be, or they didn't want me to be a liability. But I remember starting doing drywall. I played football, high school. I think I was 12 years old, 13 years old, and I'd be going and doing drywall and whatnot. So I've been blue collar my whole life. Drywall, steel stud framing, cutting concrete, doing flooring, whatever the case. But I tried sales in 2009 for the first time.
Okay.
And that was... it was a crazy experience. Englewood, Compton, California, the ghetto, trying to sell people security alarms for their homes. They'd be over there with Tech 9s and be like, we don't need security unless you got some of these, whatever the case. And it was just kind of one of those things. I did okay, but my mind wasn't into it.
Sure. So
I got a little bit older, I guess you could say, and started cutting concrete. Did 3 years, over 2 years cutting concrete, and realized that that's not something I want to do. And got a call, or actually got a hold of somebody, Jared, and he was like, let's take a call. And by the end of the call, I quit my job. Flew out to Texas, spent my savings, and been doing this ever since, man.
It's pretty crazy, man.
It is.
Thank God it worked out, huh?
Yep.
So what do you think is one of those things that really, really made it work for you? Because that's a huge risk. Like, did you have a plan B?
So when I jumped into it, I had a friend that works in the mines that kept trying to get me to go to the mines. But in my mind, that's not where I wanted to be, was, grinding that. I wanted to try something new versus the hourly pay.
Sure.
Hourly pay is okay if you want to play things safe, but it's not something that you want to keep doing when you're 65 years old, like my mom or my dad or a lot of people I know that are still struggling, still trying to, pay those bills, and they're doing that same old 9 to 5.
Yep.
So to me, it was all in. It was all or nothing. And if it wasn't for my girl and my son and the support that they showed me, and at first it was hard. They didn't even want to support me, but they was like, try it because you want to. And I had no other choice but to make it happen. And it was actually even better than I imagined.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. So I know that you kind of started with Jared,
Mm-hmm.
and then you kind of went a different direction shortly after that. Can we dig into that a little bit? Can you kind of explain how that went?
Yeah, so I spent my savings that I had, which wasn't a lot, like $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
I spent that, flew to Texas, got a rent a car the first time to make this happen. Traveled there, I think 3 times is what it was. And the last time we had a guy come out and was like, well, when you're in town, you could come and knock, for a different company back home, So I was like, let's do it, and talked to J-Rod, and he told me, he's like, yeah, that's cool. So started working there, moved up the ladder really fast. Just was like a sponge, soaking as much information in as I could. And yeah, it's what I wanted to do. I knew right there that I was like, all right, this is happening for me. And it was a month and a half before I got my director's script. But I do remember sitting there. I went on a pod trip up to Reno, and everybody's getting deals, and I'm setting the most appointments, and nothing's happening for me. And I remember feeling that you get inside of your stomach, like, I need to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing happened. And I just kept grinding 250 doors every day. And nothing was happening, setting appointments, running appointments, nothing's happening. And I think it was the director's script messing with my, my chi,
Yeah.
and nothing was happening. So I get back from the pod trip, didn't make no revenue. And it's it's in the middle of the month. And I remember sitting there and they were reading off in Jumpstart everybody's revenue from this blitz. And I was at zero. Everybody else, was making money. And I was like, what's going on? And after I sat there and contemplated on what was going on, the next trip, which is still in the same month, I went out there and absolutely obliterated those doors.
That's awesome.
And ended up being, I think, the highest revenue that month in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yep, the last week of the month. Just all that work paid off all at once. And it was nice.
That's sales, baby.
That is sales, baby.
That's sales. Yep. It's crazy how fast it can change. You can go 3 months without a sale. I've never seen that before, but then all of a sudden it just all starts happening all at once.
Yep.
So wild. So tell me a little bit about what led you back to Proficient.
So when I initially went out to Texas, just J-Rod, he's the one that bought me in, right?
Yep.
And after the buy-in that you get from him, like, everything's articulated in a certain aspect, and that was ingrained into my mind because I was trying to help him build this. It just was circumstantial. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want it to be circumstantial, but when you're, 25-hour drive away and you got a kid and, your wife at home or whatever the case, you kind of got to like rethink situations a little. And it's only a 3-hour flight, but plane tickets get expensive.
Oh yeah. Especially out of St. George Regional Airport.
Exactly. And, but I wouldn't have rather it happened any other different way because I needed to go through what I went through to be where I am today.
Yep.
And just proficient, felt like home. Using J-Rod as a mentor, captain of the ship, a leader, is what I've wanted since I've got into this industry, because I've helped him a lot. He's helped me. It's just been a perfect match.
It's awesome, man. Glad it led you back here.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
pretty
glad
awesome.
too, because I got to meet you.
That's right, dude.
Yep.
We're like two peas in a pod.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So, shit's changed a lot for you since kind of jumping into this. You were cutting concrete, breaking your back every day. I know we've talked about that a little bit, and just how heavy those saws are, and how much work really goes into that. Can we kind of break that down a little bit, like how much your life has changed, and kind of what has changed on your path to where you are today?
So, cutting concrete, I mean, I thought I was making enough money, but I was still using my credit cards every month. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I had a little bit of a spending habit, whatever the case, but I'm trying to support a family, right? I thought I was making good money, but I knew I needed a change. But yeah, cutting concrete, breaking your back, 9 to 5. I've never really tried anything different. That's what I knew. And taking the risk to actually get out of your comfort zone and, rely 100% on you and what you're capable of. There's no way after you do it, you'll ever go back to something different.
100%. I would agree with that. You're trading your effort for money instead of your time for money.
Yep.
And your skill set.
Yep. And I mean, when you put it in perspective, right? Don't you want to be paid what you're worth?
Of course.
Right? If you're outworking everybody else in the company or whatever the case, and you're getting paid the same amount or less than the next person that's been there 10 years longer than you, whatever the case, don't you want to be paid what you're worth every time?
Of course. It's crazy how that's been normalized, kind of.
It is crazy. It's normalized because people don't understand what they're capable of until they realize, that they have to do something that's 100% commission. So
that's right. But I would never go back. I know you wouldn't either.
I would absolutely never go back.
So, and I know financially your life has probably changed, right? I know we were having a conversation where, like, if I don't have this amount of money in my bank account, I start getting stressed out.
Yeah.
Could you have ever imagined even having that amount of money in your bank ever 2 years ago?
No, absolutely not. So it's kind of crazy, like when you have enough money to go, buy the truck that you've always wanted, or, have a car and a truck, a house. I mean, when you look at your bills stacking up every month and you're like, my bills is like $8,000 a month. You're just like, how can you afford that with a 9 to 5? Yep. You can't, so sales is definitely that place where, dreams come true. So.
For sure. Absolutely, man. Pretty crazy. What else? So, I mean, the money's good, but what else has changed, like in your personal life?
So it's mostly the relationship with my kid. When I'm home. I get to hang out with him without any interferences, no worries about, bills or anything like that. And money's the last thing that really is on my mind. It's the sense of freedom that comes along with it. And same with my wife as well, our relationship's never been better, and she knows I got to do what I got to do. But at the end of the day, when you're thinking about, your mom, your dad, and your sisters, your brother, whatever the case, if something happens, it feels good to be able to help them as well, you know? So it's not just the money, it's being able to spread whatever it is you learn, self-development, I've never even thought about my skills as an individual or the psychology when you talk to somebody until I started this job. So it's a all around improvement on every aspect in life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is great.
Pretty cool. So, leading up to getting into this, right, into sales, do you feel like there's anything in your professional life that contributed to having the success that you have right now, or do you feel like someone could come in with zero experience and kind of be in a very similar position as you a year later?
So I believe that anybody could come do this job. You know, obviously it's hard work, and they're going to actually, you got to put the work in. It's not just going to be given to you.
Right.
But anybody could develop the skills in what it takes to be a leader. And I genuinely believe that. And especially with the right leadership, the right people in your corner, you're unstoppable.
100%. What do you think is the most important thing that someone can have in their tool belt when they show up to their first day here to work?
Support, whether it's family, if they got wife and kids, whatever the case, they need to be fully bought into what it is you're doing. And you need to be bought into what you're doing as well. Because if you're not, you're going to have a hard time.
Damn right. Yeah, one thing I always like to say is burn those boats.
Burn them.
Burn those boats. Don't have a plan B. Have this be your plan A and your plan B. And dude, if you don't have the support of your spouse, it's never going to work.
Absolutely. And I've had a couple people work underneath me that's had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I'm telling them, I'm like, you're still making good money, but come over full time. Let's do this.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this unless you're passionate about it. If you're passionate about that, that's probably what you should be doing in the first place. If you're not that passionate about what you're doing on a 9 to 5, then come on over and let's, really take over the world.
Damn right. And one thing too is like, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, I'm not especially passionate about windows. It's not like I have this crazy, I love windows, glass and the frames. And it's not a passion about the windows that keeps me going. It's a passion about helping people.
Absolutely.
And it's a passion about just sales in general, and knowing that, like, I get to talk to people and I get to help people, and I'm changing the way that people live in their own homes. And on top of all that, I'm passionate about providing for my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And being a support system and kind of being that one that kind of changes the entire dynamic of what my family tree looks like moving forward. And I know you feel the same way. And I just think a lot of people don't, you don't have to be especially passionate about windows to get in here and have success. You just have to be passionate about helping people. You got to work your ass off, and you've got to have support.
Yeah, absolutely. And my son's never been to the ocean, and this job let me get a nice Airbnb with a pool right there next to the ocean. And we was up there about a week, and he didn't want to leave the waves.
Of course
he was in
not.
the ocean all day, every day. And he still talks about it right now. And it's been 3 months since we were there, So you talk about the family tree and what it's going to do for your lineage, but what it's going to do for, your family members that are current as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to alleviate a little bit of pressure on them, and particularly me. I've been up and I've been down in my life, and, for them to see me now, and they tell me they're proud of me every time they see me, and it's a little bit different than how it used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I know that you've had a little bit of a checkered past.
Absolutely.
Some might consider. Do you want to dive into that a little bit and just kind of explain that period of time?
Yeah. I mean, I've lived a little bit of a lifestyle. I mean, when I was younger, you know, high school, I believe it was, I was super against drugs and all sorts of things. And it just so happened that I was hanging out with the wrong people and getting into that path. And eventually I was selling them and doing them, and, led me down even a worse rabbit hole after I started doing them, and then years off my life. And yeah, man, it just wasn't too good of a spot. And I was down and it was dark. And yeah, came out of it. And I don't know how I did it. Led me to prison. And now I'm here.
That's right.
Yep.
And do you ever feel like a day goes by working here at Proficient where that holds you back?
I don't. So I think that everybody's in the place that they need to be at that moment, the right time, concept. Everything's about timing. You're going to learn and go through different phases in life. It's almost like a level up, like platforms. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on level 2. You might be on level 3. I'm thinking, how am I going to get to your level?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because you are who you surround yourself by. So if you're hanging out with drug addicts one day, the next day something could click for you, and now you're hanging around, people that are successful and take their lives serious.
That's right.
And that is actually what happened to me.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I know that like people that spend time with you, they would never associate you with that.
Absolutely.
Like in a million years. So it's like you've completely, it's like that's not even attached to you anymore, which is pretty incredible. Do you feel like there's something that you did that kind of allowed that shift to change place? Is it just the people that you surround yourself with, or were there other things?
So I believe that I needed to do something different eventually. When I was younger, I really despised drugs, but I was hanging around the wrong people that made me think that it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it, I mean, I did it for 10 years or something like that. And I remember on my 2 weeks before my 30th birthday, I had a switch go off in my mind. And I realized, I was like, what am I doing, And it just changed from there. And the weird thing is that switch, like I started thinking, I still did drugs a little bit after that switch went off. And I kind of realized that it just wasn't for me anymore. And I mean, if it wasn't for prison's probably what got me sober in the first place. But yeah, when I got out, I remember telling myself, I'm going to see what I'm capable in life, and I'm going to give myself 5 years to do it. And it's been about 3.5 right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy, dude.
So I did it in half the time.
Well, I'm fucking proud of you, dude.
I'm proud of you too, brother.
Great job, man.
Yeah.
So, let's kind of go a different direction. I know we've talked about your past a little bit. You've got a lot of ambition. You've got a lot that you want to do in life. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
So 5 years from now, I see myself living off the grid with a whole bunch of trees surrounding me to where I don't necessarily have to see people when I don't want to, with my boy and my girl, just part-time.
Yeah.
Just part-time. But that's the goal for now. And maybe helping other people as well.
Yeah.
Get to where I want to be and where they want to be, and we can work together and, join a unit,
Yep. It's pretty awesome, man. And then within the company, where do you see yourself? I know that there's a ton of potential growth opportunities, and I know that you're pursuing that. And I know that we've talked about it a little bit. Do you want to kind of elaborate on kind of where you want to be? Because it's not going to take long for you to get there.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you?
I want to run 6 offices. I want to take Proficient Windows alongside you and the other leaders in this company, and I want to build a family to where everybody doesn't have to worry for the rest of their life. I want to do it with culture, with expectations on, the end goal when we're there, and just create a family that lasts.
That's right. Yep. Take Proficient to the moon, baby.
To the moon.
To the moon. Yeah. And I think retention's a big part of that too. I know
Absolutely.
a lot of these other companies, I know in my previous organization, there was so much turnaround. And when I first started there, there was such a good culture, and there were people that had been there for a long time. And the one thing that changed was the culture. And that's when people started falling off. And that's when people started coming in and just leaving. They would kind of see some of the stuff that was going on. They wouldn't agree with it. And I think that the way that we're going to aid in retention and take this shit to the next level is culture.
Culture, integrity, ethics.
That's right.
And I believe the same.
That's
and
awesome.
As long as we, are ethical in every decision that we make, obviously there's going to be hiccups along the way.
Of course.
And that's okay, because we got that ethical reasoning behind every situation to where, we'll make it right if it was wrong.
Yep. Something I always say in appointments is, hey, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. But more importantly than never, ever making a mistake is fixing that mistake once it's made.
Learn from them.
Learn from them.
Learn
That's
from
right.
every mistake.
Yep. So I agree with you. I want to know a little bit about like your personal life. What do you do off work when you're, we're starting this 10-day on, 10-day off structure? What does that look like, your 10 days off?
So for Father's Day, my wife and my son actually decided to buy me some kayaks.
No way.
So in order to go kayaking, you need a truck, right? So had to go get a truck to haul the kayaks.
That's right.
Found out that it's a lot more work than you think, unloading and carrying those things to the water and back and whatever the case. But been kayaking a little bit. Play some Call of Duty with a couple of the guys. Gets me out of the reality of work, because all I do is think about work when I'm off, unless I'm doing something, But just camping, fishing, spending time, kayaking, whatever the case, and some Call of Duty, man.
Outdoors.
Yeah.
Outdoors. You're in the right spot for it. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
What kind of truck did you get?
Toyota Tacoma.
It's a good truck.
Yeah. TRD Sport.
Dang.
Yeah.
You went all in.
All in.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Love it.
And where do you like to go kayaking?
So I started just going to Gunlock, or, Ivan's Reservoir.
Yeah.
Everybody's calling it Fire Lake nowadays.
Yeah.
But just recently went to Quell and found out Quell's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love that lake more than Gunlock. So,
seriously?
Yeah.
It's a little busier than Gunlock, I think.
It is.
A little bigger, though, too.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got like that little river up the side, too.
Yeah.
Have you gone over there with the kayak?
I used to go fishing there when I was younger. Haven't been up there on the kayak yet, but my girl tells me about this take it out over there all the time. So
it's got to be the right time of year, because sometimes it gets a little too low.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets like I think it's certain times of the year there's just no water over there at all.
Yeah.
But damn, there's some bass over there for sure, over by those rocks.
Yeah.
Right off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's full of overgrowth right at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Be pretty hard to take a kayak back there then.
I mean, you could take it back there, but it's going to be you carrying it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Right on, man.
So,
Well, I know that we're trying to bring more people in, right? And I know that you've done a really good job at that because you're a natural leader, and people see that, they gravitate towards that. What are some of the things everybody wants to or should aspire to be an incredible leader? What are some of the things that you feel like have allowed you to fill that role at such a high level?
when you're genuine about things, and you actually care about people or helping people, mentoring, when people see that you're genuine, they just naturally want to follow because they know that you have their best interest. Whether or not they've had it in the past with other leaders or whatever the case, just be genuine, and everything else happens organically. So,
Couldn't have said it better myself. Great job. And then for people that are just kind of on the fence, I know that we probably have a lot of people looking at us right now. I know it's the tides are changing. The word is out. We've got people talking about us. If people are kind of on the fence about that, what's something that you could say to just get them a little more maybe bought into the opportunity?
risk is the best. Take the risk now. That way you don't got to later and sit stagnant your whole life. Come over to Proficient Windows.
That's right. Wise words. Okay, you guys. Well, this was our episode with Danny. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do. Come and see us next time. See ya. Bye.